Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, near or far, high or low. Welcome back to the Coach Du podcast, where we dive deep into the journeys of rising stars and seasoned pros in the basketball world. And today, listeners, I'm honestly thrilled and excited to have such young talent in the studio joining us. At just 16, Bo has already made waves signing with the Oakland Wolves in the Super League Women's and is representing Great Britain on the national stage. In this episode, we're going to explore her incredible journey from Iceland to the UK, her aspirations for Div 1 basketball, but also how she balances hoops with her academic dream of becoming a lawyer. So get ready for an episode packed for ballers and fans alike. So please, listeners, give a warm welcome to Bo Frost. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. And I think just before we even get started, huge congrats on the GB qualifying. I mean, that is like big time. And again, it's funny because I'm really having this talk with guests. Like, I'm seeing such a huge surge of just like basketball players like yourself. We've got the young crew coming in. We've got the old veterans that are kind of still taking on that leadership role, and just seeing where GB basketball is super exciting, man. So just with that being said, before we even just start on how you started basketball and where you are now, Bo, talk to us. How's your physical and how is your mental?
Physically, I'm doing great. I'm training a lot, getting my body stronger. It's really important to me to lift as well as train because to prevent injuries is like number one, two, and three. So lifting heavy, doing effective lifts with a strength and conditioning coach that knows what they're doing is also really important.
Right.
Just to make sure that every muscle of your body is thought about and cared for. But also the post training, the post lifting, what you're doing with your body on rest days, what you're doing after practice, that was also really important. And then with your mental, on rest days, when you get a chance to breathe and just think about things, just really focus on doing what you like, hanging out with friends, going outside, getting fresh air is really important.
Right. See, it's crazy to think that you're just 16, because even as how you answer that is like such a pro answer. Like, you're talking about what you do before, after, like, so kind of just take us back, Bo, like just with regards to your personal journey and your introduction to basketball. Can you tell us more about how you got into basketball and the role your sister played in sparking your interest?
Yeah, so growing up, I was a tennis player. So I played a lot of tennis and I lived in Spain. And then around 8 years, when I was 8 years old, I moved to Iceland. My dad's from Iceland, so my family all live there right now. I moved there, and because Iceland's a bit cold, they don't
Yep.
play tennis in Iceland.
Yeah.
So I had to find another extracurricular activity to do with school.
Okay.
And then my sister started going to basketball trainings at the local club where near my school.
Yep.
And one day I just decided to tag along because I didn't really have much to do. I just fell in love with it. And we've been playing basketball for a really long time and we've stuck with it, like doing it together. I think when you do it with your sisters, makes it that much more special. Obviously, we're very competitive and we wouldn't admit who's better, but like,
Yeah.
was really nice to be able to play with her. And I mean, obviously, I've changed clubs multiple times now, and so I haven't played with her a long time. But being on that journey through basketball and through life with your sibling, or even with your
Yeah.
friend, it's really special.
And kind of just talk about, because I mean, this brings me to now, you have quite the decorated passport, so to speak, but also just your background in basketball. What was it like growing up or seeing some of that early basketball culture in Spain as well?
Played a bit in Spain, a bit. I mean, I didn't play basketball I didn't really play basketball before I moved to Iceland.
Right.
But the culture in Spain is just a different level. The basketball
Right.
culture there, it's a
Right.
completely different style of play. I feel like it's more. I mean, the physical. It's in Iceland at least. I'm just going to contrast it with something I know well. In Iceland, it's very much more American style, so very athletic, very 1v1,
Right.
very flashy passes, flashy moves, finishing at the rim, contact, all this. And then it's in Spain, you dive deeper into that mental aspect of basketball. More like it's more controlled, it's more concise, it's very fast.
Right.
The defense is amazing.
Right.
Some of the best defenders I've ever played against.
Wow.
And yeah, so there is a big difference between that's pure European basketball, and I feel like a mix of both.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so what was it like just with regards to something that started as you like tagging along with your sister's practices to you playing competitively and then even eventually signing with the Oakland Wolves? Like, how was that process like for you?
I mean, thankfully at my club in Iceland, they had a really good youth program at the time. So some of the best girls in the whole country were playing at my youth club when I first started playing. And they were all, I think they were all 1 or 2 years older than me.
Wow.
And they were the best in Iceland. Like, they won the league every year. And thankfully I got to join in and see that higher level because they were really good.
Yeah.
Playing in age groups above, and it was really good.
Right.
So I was really just pushed into that really early in my basketball journey, that competitiveness, the athleticism, all that just really early. Which in a way is a good thing because you learn it quickly and you learn to adapt.
Right.
It was also challenging being with older girls. I mean, you're there because you're trying to get better, but they're there and they see you as competition. So it's not like they're coming in and welcoming you and giving you hugs and all that. No, they're going coast to coast, to playing defense like their life is on the line on your practice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really amazing experience, and that really definitely propelled me forward. And I just said, well, if they can do it and they're 2 years older than me, imagine if I work that hard, what I could do. And then after I played with them for a while, I started seeing improvement.
Nice.
And then finally, all those younger girls moved to the professional league, and we had the youngest team in the league at the time. So the average age of our professional team at our club was 18, I think, because we did have some pros.
Okay, yeah.
18. We had like 6 17-year-olds, 3 18-year-olds, and then some professionals. So, and also being in a professional league at such a young age and having to play differently, because obviously professional and under 18s is very different game, a very different speed. And there's different aspects of the game you have to focus more on. Like, it's less about athleticism and it's more about strategy and playing to the strengths of the team.
There we go. Yeah.
And that really helped me look at, I actually do want to do this in the future, because I compete at a high level and I have girls that are leading the team that are around my age, are playing at this high of a level. That really inspires you, and it's like, oh, okay, at 15, 16, seeing 17, 18-year-old girls playing at a high level, it's like that, that's me in 2 years. I could do that.
There we go.
And that's really how it all started.
See, and that's something that I think is so key, like especially with I think just basketball in general, but I think more so for girls basketball. Like, I mean, I've been involved with women's basketball fortunately since 2008, and I've just seen the growth, and like I think it's important when we speak about the player pathway. I mean, you just said it there best. Like, when you was 15, 16, you had the elders to look up to and be like, wow, like they're performing at that level. That's something that I want to aspire to. And that kind of gave you that inspiration that led you along the way. So during that player development, I feel like every player, bro, has that moment where training starts to kick in, the game just starts to slow down. They even get into that zone where they realize that they're nice at basketball. So for yourself, bro, when was that moment for you?
Well, that's a good question. I think properly, I mean, I did have that realization for the first time, but I don't think it was really, I mean, because obviously when you play, you're on adrenaline, you're just trying to lock in and just focus on the game. I think my first taste of that feeling of being in the zone and feeling like, oh, I'm nice, was around 2 years ago, maybe a bit more. 3 years ago now, I think, where I played my first cup final. with my old club in Iceland. I think I was around 14, 15.
Yeah.
I think I hadn't turned 15 yet. Yeah, I hadn't turned 15 yet. And I was playing in the under-18s cup final.
Okay. Damn. Oh, not that. Jeez. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. I see now. Yeah. Yeah.
I was playing in the under-18s cup final, and we were playing against a really strong team. And one of our main key players got injured a few weeks before and couldn't play the game. So I was kind of moved from like 6, 7, 8 man to properly 6 man, 6/5.
Right.
And I was really excited because I'd played the under-17s final the day before, and did really well. So I was like, okay, I'm on a roll now. I've got the momentum, right? I was just focused on the game. Didn't think about didn't think about tiredness, nothing. I was just, this is it. Give everything, and then you can have a rest tomorrow.
Yeah. Right.
And so I played this game, and it was a really tough game. It was really close. And then our point guard got injured at halftime. And I think we were 5 under or something. And I was like, this can't happen. She was on the floor. She couldn't get up. I was like, oh my God, this can't be happening right now.
You're setting the scene right now, Bo. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was so stressful. I remember it as if it were yesterday. I was like, okay, I need to do something.
Yeah.
I need to do something because things are hitting the fan, and we need to lock in. We need to do something.
Right.
So I was like, okay. And then I pulled up from way out the 3-point line, made it. Then the next possession, two against one, again, quite far out the 3-point line, made it. I was like, okay. Okay. I can do this now. So I just drained 3 threes in a row. And then I was like, okay, I'm in the zone now. And we ended up winning. And I ended up getting MVP.
See, that is a hell of a moment, because it's, again, and that probably gave you a taste of your passion for the game, your hunger, but also just that's a huge lesson where you learn about your own character. In these pressure moments, when, like you said, when stuff is hitting the fan, am I gonna crumble under pressure, or am I gonna turn into a diamond under this pressure? So the fact that you was able just to come out on top of that must have been so exciting, man, honestly.
It was definitely my first feeling of rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
It's sink or swim. When stuff is going wrong, and when, I don't know, the rest's not going your way, or the uncontrollables are not being controllable.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's stuff that's going wrong you can't control, like injuries. How your team, how are you going to go to war together? Who's going to step up? Who's going to, propel the team forward?
Right.
Who's going to do that?
Right.
And I think that was definitely the first time I've properly felt the hunger and the need to win.
Nice.
Properly.
Yeah. And just with regards to the club and the national team experiences, what has your experience been like playing for the Oakland Wolves and stepping into the Super League women's level at such a young age?
It's been really positive. I really enjoyed it here. Everyone's super nice. I love all my teammates. We all have really good love together at trainings, but we also can compete.
Yeah.
We're all really good friends on and off the court.
Right.
But when we need to get serious and lock in, we really compete, and we're very aggressive, and we really make each other better every day, which is such a great environment to be in, because some people are not as fortunate to be able to have a good time with your teammates, but also be able to really compete at a high level in practice and in game.
Right. That's true. That's true. And I got to say just a quick shout out to the Oaklanders, and shout out to Ella, man, because I had the opportunity, I was super fortunate to have her on the pod as well. You could tell she's just like a joy to be around, and she really, like you said, when she needs to lock in, she can do it in a heartbeat. So love that.
100%.
Absolutely. And just how did it feel to be called up for the GB women's national team for the first time, and just what did that experience teach you?
I think, first of all, my first call up was in November of last year.
Yeah.
And I'd been talking to my under-18s coach, Kramesh, about wanting to do seniors and if that would be a possibility in the near future, in 2 years maybe. And then I had heard a lot of rumors about the list starting to come out, like the squad. So I texted him, I was like, "Oh, do you think that I could maybe come and watch or something?" And then I got the call from our GM at GB, and he said, he asked me if I would be interested in coming to camp, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness!" right now,
Of course.
because after my amazing GB experience last summer with under-18s, I just wanted to be in that environment again. Just when you play for your country, it's completely different to playing with a club. You're representing a whole nation,
True.
you know, and you have so many people supporting you. You're playing with the best in your nation,
Yeah.
all going towards one goal, and it's just, I don't know, it's incredible. I had that feeling. You
Right.
step onto the floor wearing your GB threads.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is just insane.
Right.
And yeah, so when I got the call, I was like, of course I want to come. And they were like, well, we'll keep you informed about how the roster goes, but we're just asking you if you would like to come. Just as a, yeah. I was like, I'm so honored. Like it was incredible.
Yeah.
And then I didn't hear anything for like 2 weeks, and I was stressing.
Of course.
Am I gonna make the training camp roster? Am I not? And then they put out the list. They texted me the day before and like, you've made the training camp roster, and I was ecstatic.
Yeah.
I was ecstatic.
Yeah.
I love playing for GB. I love playing for my country. I love representing my country. So I was more than honored to. It was insane.
Yeah.
So I went to the training camp, and just the level, the eliteness of playing for such a prestigious organization of what is GB, because it's not only the players, it's the staff, it's the S&C, it's the coaches, everyone around you are really striving to make what we have better and to reach our ultimate goal, which was Eurobasket.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was incredible being able to watch players like Temi, Holly Winterburn, Savannah Wilkinson, all these elite players. And obviously that's where I met Sam and Shanice for the first time. Just watching them, seeing how they play, how they move on the floor, the passes they make, the reads. It's just, it really inspires you and propels you to want to work hard to be able to play at that level.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. In the sixth training,
That's real. Yeah.
definitely hard. But you know, I just worked hard, kept my head down, just really tried to absorb everything I was learning. Just absorb. I'm just here to learn from these incredible people who've achieved insane things.
Right.
And then I ended up making the roster, and being in the squad for our game against Denmark, and then traveling to Sweden. It was just an incredible experience, and I would encourage anyone and to want to do it. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Anyone. If anyone wants to compete and play at a high level and do all these things, that's the way to go.
See, and like, I mean, first off, hats off to you, man, because I mean, you're taking it with such grace, and I think the one thing that I just love about how you speak about it is you are remaining a student of the game. You're soaking up everything, you know, and I can tell as well, just from how you speak, bro, you're very real about the process. Like, because you even mentioned, like, don't get it wrong, like my first practice with them was hard. Like, it wasn't all puppies and rainbows. Like, there was some things where I had to really pick up on, or it was a challenge. So even that honesty is just super key, especially as a young athlete. And it was funny because I was as I was doing research about you, there was a interview you did with GB Basketball, and you mentioned in your first GB under-18s competition, which was a big leap for you at that time. You know, it was just 15. So how did you manage that jump in the competition level? But also, what were some of the key lessons you learned from that experience?
Some of the key lessons I learned from my under 18s experience
So,
were definitely how to manage my intensity. Because I feel like at a younger level, it's all a bit wild. Everyone has so much energy. Everything's, it's fast, it's athletic, it's, good handles, it's all this. And before I played with GB and got coached by Kramesh and all the staff,
yeah.
I was very much a loose cannon, I'd say, in an energy sort of way.
Yeah.
I'd love to be loud and be expressive, and that's good, but you have to be able to control that and be zen and be in the zone, because you can't waste your energy on things when you're trying to, center yourself and be in the zone. I think my biggest challenge was just to not be too high, not be too low, just be centered.
Love that.
Because that's when your focus is the best.
Yeah.
Because you're not too excited, or you're not jumping around and, trying to cause chaos.
Yeah.
And you're not too low, because you need to maintain that energy for your team to be able to flow and be in that flow state. So being centered and being focused throughout the whole game, and never drops.
Yeah.
That's, I think, something that I've learned the most about being in under 18s, and also taking on a leadership role. Being able to be in a team and really make sure everyone's going to war for each other.
Yes, that's
We're
it.
fighting
Yeah.
for one goal. And we spent weeks and hours and hours and hours training together.
Yeah.
But when things don't go our way, what are we going to do?
Here we go.
Are we going to break up and two go this way and two go this way? Are we going to stay together and be leveled and be in flow state? Right. All of us be on the same page, in the same zone.
Right.
That's what was the most important thing.
Right.
And the biggest lesson for me is to be able to not only be in the flow state on my own, but encourage the people around me to rise to the same level, and also we can all have chemistry.
Yes.
Be in the same flow and to understand each other on the raw. Being effective communication being one. Tone.
Yes.
Tone is so important.
Very.
Effective communication. I love to talk on defense.
Yeah.
I love to talk. I love to talk during the games. And when I first went to GB, I just talk. And my coaches were like, "You're talking a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, oh, that's good, right?" And they were like, "No, I'd rather you don't talk than talk like that."
Okay.
Like, because it's not effective. If you're just saying ball, that's not effective. That's not effective.
Oh, so yes, please. Why do you mean that? Because that's so key, and people don't know the difference. But like, ball, surely that's helping, or defense. But like, speak about that, because that is super key.
Yeah, that's also one. I think that's top 3 of the things I learned. Effective communication is so important, but being able to effectively communicate takes a lot more mind, like a lot more focus. So if you're at a high flow state or a too low flow state, you won't be able to effectively communicate because you're not focused enough. Saying things, instead of saying screen, say screen left, go under, right, go over,
there we go.
Here, screen.
Yeah.
Instead of, for example, saying ball, just say I've got a ball.
Yeah.
And then your teammates from behind you will communicate what you're going to do.
Right.
Sending her right, I'm sending her left, I'm icing, I'm switching.
Yeah.
Instead of filler words.
Yeah.
That's what we call them.
There we go.
Filler words.
Yeah.
You can use filler words in sentences. You can't reuse them on the court.
Yes.
That's not allowed.
Right.
So that's really important. Also, being able to go from adrenaline communication to bench communication. How are you going to make that transfer? Because obviously when everyone's hyped and everyone's running up and down, and communication is different to when you're on the bench. So how are you going to make that energy transfer to be able to effectively communicate with your team in a timeout? Yeah. That's also really important. And at a higher level, you see the girls, they know how to effectively communicate and transfer their energy from a high to a bench high. Yeah. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah, see, and that's something that I saw firsthand, just last Saturday I went to watch the London Lions women's play, and I got to see shout out to May Spinks in action, and it's just so cool. It's one thing to watch just high level basketball on YouTube or like on TV, but to see it up close in person, I mean, I'm sure you know this more than anyone, but like you see how quick the game is, but even during those timeouts, you're kind of eavesdropping. What is the coach saying? What's the body language of the team? And when they're on the court, when the ball goes out of bounds, okay, team come in, we need to do this, okay, break. Then they spread out. Or like you were saying, they're very intentful with their communication. They're calling, okay, go under, go over, or they're even saying, okay, if I got this person on me that's a mismatch, you can feed me, or they're having those little talks, So that is
Exactly.
so key, man. So key. And just with regards to like your goals and your aspirations, you've mentioned your dream is to play at the Div 1 basketball level in the US. So how are you preparing for that goal both on and off the court?
I'd say off the court, I'm just trying to find that balance between school and basketball. Because I know basketball isn't forever as much as everyone would want to think it's forever.
Yeah.
It's not. And I really want to be able to get a good degree before I go off and do other things.
Yeah.
Because that's really important to me. It's always been important to me to do well in school, to then be able to get a good degree for later in life. So at least off the court, trying to find a good balance where if I'm not training, if I'm not resting, I need to study. How am I managing my studies? How am I managing my time? That's also something you learn while being in GB, for example. How are you managing your load, your time, your lifting, when are you going to eat? When do you need to sleep?
Yeah.
Especially being away from home for lots of weeks together, you learn to manage your time. And also being here at Oakland's, I'm obviously living away from home.
Yeah.
So learning to manage school, manage when I need to go get food, when I need to go shopping, when I need to cook, all this on top of schoolwork. It's a great life lesson.
Yeah. Sure.
But you're never perfect, and just studying hard, working hard, playing hard, and then on the court, just getting 1% better every day, and just giving my 100%.
Right.
It's all about effort. If you give 100%, you're gonna get better.
There we go. I see that's something I even shout out to my London elite girls. Like I'm just love because we're a very young team that's competing in a very high division in the Premier National League, and they're really learning what basketball outside of school is like, and I had such an amazing honesty shout out to them because I had a great session on Monday because now we're competing every single play. That's kind of like automatic for them, and now I'm starting them to see, okay, screen right, screen left, or no, you need to go over because she can shoot, or if she can drive, you need to go under, or she's one hand, force her left. I'm like, oh, I'm just like to see that, yeah, like literally, like because the biggest thing like is seeing that they're retaining this information, and especially when they're teaching it to other players as well, it helps them retain that information. And you even just said it, I mean, you being at such a young age, like how do you balance your academic goals with your athletic commitments?
I think I've always since I've done basketball at quite a high level, quite a bit of my life, I've never had a problem with balance. I think it's really important to just know what you need to do. I love to write things down. I write a lot of things down. I make notes. I make a plan. I find spaces in my schedule. I have my schedule on my phone, on my laptop, on my wall. Just knowing when everything needs to happen. I'm very time oriented. I need to know what's happening to be able to then think, okay, I have a test Tuesday. I have practice Monday 3 till 5. Then I have practice 8. Okay, I have space from 5 till 8 to study, to take care of my body, to eat. Okay, and then finding other gaps in my schedule. Honestly, it is hard. It is really difficult, especially when your schedule changes, coach is ill, or there's an extra session because we have a game Wednesday, or we're traveling for a game on Saturday. You won't have Saturday, Sunday to go do homework in your room. you need to adapt, take homework with you on the road, or just fully lock in for the game, and then you have the whole of Sunday because you're traveling back Saturday again.
Yeah.
It's just things like that. But yeah, it is hard. I'm not going to tell you it's easy because it's not.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's for real.
but if you're really committed and have high goals, and you know what your goals are, and you're really committed to those goals, anything's worth it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And just with regards to, again, like still staying on that topic of what your goals and aspirations are, like what kind of D1 program are you looking for, and how important is the balance between academics and athletics in your decision-making process?
I would say I have lots of criteria, obviously, but just to give you a gist of it, I really want a school where I can do my major.
Yeah.
Do the major I want to study. That's really important to me. Yeah. I am willing to compromise. That is really important to me because I want to get my degree. I also want to play at a high level, at the highest level possible for me to be able to study as well.
Yeah.
So I am willing to drop a bit of basketball for my academics, but I want to play at the highest level possible.
Right.
And that's really propelling me forward to, I know so many people that are doing medicine and playing at a really high level. So if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
If they're willing to sacrifice a lot to be able to get their degree and play at a really high level, I can do it. Because I'm willing to sacrifice as well.
Right.
But I really want to play Division 1 at the highest level, at least the Power 4. Yeah. Or Power, a high conference, a high level. Because my aspirations are to go to the league. I want to play EuroLeague. I want to play WNBA. Sky's the limit. That's absolutely my dream. Yeah. My dream is to play at the highest level possible. So being at a school that will not only let me achieve my academic goals, but help me to learn to be a student of the game and to get better every day so I can reach those goals and reach my dreams and achieve them. That's what I want to be.
Nice. And just with that, like just when it comes to your mindset and skill development, I think one thing that's really impressed me is that you've spoken a lot about the drive to continuously improve in your basketball game. So what specific skills are you focusing on right now just to elevate your game?
So right now, I am really focusing on my lateral movement and speed.
Okay.
Because being 6'2", God knows, is not the easiest job in the world. Right. But really focusing on lifting heavy so I can run faster. That's definitely one. And being versatile is something that I really want to be great at. Not only good, but be great.
Yeah.
Because if you can guard 4 players on the floor, that'll help you play more. If you can play in 4 positions on the floor, that will help you play more, get more minutes. But also realistically, being in a professional environment, you're getting better, but then again, you're playing against really good players. Yeah. So maybe that confidence you get from getting better is a bit less, but you still see small improvements. Yeah. And that's really what I'm guessing at. If I can not get blown by Shanice on practice. Yeah. And she's quick too. She's quick too. Yeah. Very happy. Just improving, just getting better. Another thing I'm working on is my pull-up game, my step backs from the 2, my what's it called?
Pound dribble or?
A pound dribble, like hezzy. Yes. And through, I'm trying to work on my twos game. Yeah. And I really believe in the 80-20 thing. So 80% you work on things you're good at, and 20% you work on things that you're not good at. Yeah. Because then every 20%, every time you work on something you're not good at, you're slowly getting better, but you're also improving what you've already got in your bag. Yeah. Because you can't only focus on things you're not good at. You have to also elevate what you are good at.
That's true.
So, for example, I'm trying to get my 3-point percentage up every game. Just get shots up. I go shoot every morning. Because I live literally 5 feet away. So I wake up, get shots up, go to school, and just making sure that I get enough reps in, but game-like reps. The shots I would shoot in a game. And then also just finishing through contact, because when you play against taller, stronger girls that are faster than you, you need to be able to finish through contact. That's so important. And finishing moves as well, being able to fake out if your defender's a shot blocker. We have really good shot blockers. If they like to block shots, how are you going to fake them out? If they're going to beat you to the spot quicker, how are you going to fake you out like that? If they're taller than you, how are you going to use your speed to attack them and finish? Just things like that. I mean, you can improve in every aspect of your game, but I think that's mostly what my biggest focuses are. Obviously, just trying to get better at everything every day.
Right.
Certain amount of time.
See, and you just even mentioned it there. Like, how are you working on building strength and confidence to compete at these higher levels? And what advice would you give to young players about physical preparation?
I think what helps me be physically and mentally prepared to play at this higher level is to just get reps. Because the more you do it, it becomes more of a reaction rather than an action. You know, your body knows what you're doing. They know if you're in this situation where A, B, or C is happening, this is what you're going to do. Your go-tos. Have go-tos. Have things you know, are confident in game. And then the more you practice more go-tos, theoretically, the more skills you have in your bag. So I love a good midi. I love a good pull-up midi. I love a good corner three. So just getting reps in the things you know you're going to do in games is really important.
See, and why would you say, because you even said you just want to be great at being versatile, like, why is that so important for you? Because I mean, I kind of look at you playing at the pro level, like there's coaches, teams, players who are even watching you play live. Okay, so Bo likes to do this, that. So they're already downloading the scout report, the player profile. So when you on the court, you might not be able to get that first move off. So you have to kind of go in your counters or kind of come off screens and things of that nature. So for yourself, like when you have a player or a team or a coach that has that scout report on you, why is it important just to be so versatile, and how has that helped you even in game situations?
I think the most important thing about me being versatile is that I can play 4 spots on the floor. I have gone to the 1. I don't really go to the 1 for the team I'm in right now. But I do like to go to the 2. I go to the 3 a lot. I can go to the 4. I played the 4 at GB. So I can slide to the 4. Sorry.
So good.
And it is really important because obviously when you have different matchups, there's very few times where you have a 6'2" guard playing the point guard. There's also to be someone smaller than you when you play at positions where stereotypically the people are shorter. So, for example, there I could use my size to the rim, just playing 1-on-1 on the post. If I have a smaller guard on me. If I have a guard that's my size, use your strength, use your body, use your counters. Because if you're playing against someone that's a lot like you, what would fake you out? You think should fake. If you're playing against a taller player who is a bit slower on their feet, slower lateral movement, you're going to use your ball handling skills, slide to the 2 and make them guard you. If you're guarded by a big who likes to block shots, well, you slide to the 2 or 3 or 1 and then you use your ball handling skills to get by them. It's just really finding your advantage wherever it lies. Depending on who's guarding you, depending how the other team plays defense, how are you going to find your advantage? And when you have versatility, you have more options to have an advantage. if you only like to drive left and someone takes that away, what are you going to do?
Right.
You need to be able to grow your skill in multiple areas, not only one. Because if they take away your first option, what's your next option? If they take away that, what's your next option?
Right.
Being a triple threat is really important.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the best at anything.
Right.
I'm saying, like, when you work on it and someone takes away your first option, you have a second one, and you have a third, and you have a fourth. So just always being ready.
Right. And I could just tell as well, you're not just working on the physical skill when you're on the court, and when you're off the court, you're making sure you're lifting and you're making sure that you're stronger as well physically. I can tell there's that basketball chess mentally that's going on. So what mental strategies do you use, Bo, to handle nerves during big games or when you're competing at a new level?
I don't have a strict pre-game routine, or anything like that, but I'm a big manifester. I'm a very big manifester. I love to manifest things. I believe when you speak something into existence, it makes that even more real.
Yeah.
So I'm big on manifesting. I also meditate before games.
Nice.
Positive affirmations, just to get my mind and body just connected, and just to find that middle ground, just be really locked in for the game. I meditate before every game, before I either travel to the game or just an hour before tip off.
Right.
I like to meditate to get myself properly ready, and then I'll get geared up and do my hair, put on the kit. So I do it pre everything.
Okay.
Then my body knows, okay, it's game time now.
Yeah.
Just to have that in the routine. And I also like to have a clear space. So I'm a big believer, if you have a clear space, you have a clear
mind. Yeah. So true.
Yes.
So true.
So if you do everything you need to do, you have, your desk is clear, your room's clear, and you just have clear slate, a blank slate before you play. There's no clutter, and then you meditate. That's just.
It's so true. And I mean, again, I think that is so true. Just how you do one thing is kind of how you do a lot of things, if that makes sense. And what I'm intrigued to know now, just with regards to, you said leadership is super big for you, and even like teamwork, like how have you adapted to new teams and built chemistry with teammates, both at the club level and the national level?
I think it's always important to just be yourself. Because if you're putting on a facade, it only hinders you.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be something you're not, that's not beneficial to the team or to you, because you're going to end up giving up, because it's so hard to keep up. So just being yourself 100%. I'm very loud and very bubbly and very, I have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And just bringing 100% of you to the team, personality-wise, as who you are, is going to help you basketball-wise. I'm a big believer in that. If you're yourself and you're kind and you're respectful and you're generous, people will accept you.
Yeah, that's real. That's real, man. Damn, I felt that, man. That's so true. Honestly, man. And what role do you see yourself playing as a teammate, and like how do you contribute to building cohesion on the court as well?
I mean, I love to be a hype man.
Yeah.
I like to think
love that.
I'm a good hype woman. Plus,
Teammates.
I love to hype my teammates up and to know they do a good job whenever they hit a tough bucket.
Yeah.
I'm there, I'm the first one there, I'm hyping them up.
Yeah.
But also keeping it real. Like I said, effective communication. We're here to make each other better.
Yeah.
We're here because we want to improve. So if you can't effectively communicate with your teammates, then, no one's getting better. No one's, helping each other out. And I really like that about my team now. We're very good at effective communication. If someone takes a shot, and it's not the best, we call it a great.
Yeah.
At Oakland, if you don't have a great, someone will let you know. But not in a mean way. It's like, oh, that was a terrible shot.
Yeah.
But like, they'll give reason and they'll have a good tone and their body language will be good. Right. So that is really important to me as a teammate, to be able to give effective feedback, communication, because then when you give effective feedback and communication at practice, you'll do it on court as well.
Right. Love that.
Practice is what you play.
That exactly. And kind of just the final part of the podcast before we wrap up with, I like to call Beyond the Game segment, like just like advice for young players, like for girls your age who aspire to play at a high level. What advice would you give about skill development and just staying motivated?
I think to develop your skill and to stay motivated, to find motivation, is truly love what you do. Truly love what you do. Be in an environment. Put yourself in an environment where you're challenged, but you feel good.
Right.
Obviously, you're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have your good days. You're going to have your bad days. But put yourself in an environment where you get better, where you're challenged, but you're also encouraged to succeed.
Yeah.
And if you're in a place where you're challenged and encouraged to succeed, you're going to have success and you're going to get 1% better every day.
Right. And how can young players balance school, social life, basketball while still pursuing that passion and their goal?
I think if you're passionate about something, you'll find a way. There's always a way.
That's true.
For me personally, to be able to balance all these things is schedule. Schedule everything. Know what you're doing. Be aware of your commitments and where the important things lie in your life. For me, basketball is very important, but also relationships with people to me are very important.
True.
And so is school. So put things that are really important to you first. Put things that are really important to you that make you happy first. Because then you'll never have to work a day in your life if you do things that make you happy.
Yeah. And for a young athlete who say they kind of came up to you as a bowl, like, I mean, I'm just really struggling with my confidence right now. Like, what would you say to that player?
I mean, I've definitely had a lot of ups and downs with my confidence. I've played for coaches that have not been great and not been great for my mental health. And I think it's really important to know that everyone's on their own journey. True. You should never compare your journey to anyone else's.
Yeah.
You should never compare yourself to anyone because you're on your own journey. You lead your own path and everyone's dealing with different things.
Sure.
Never let a coach kill your confidence. And I know everyone says this, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
There always is. And, there were times where I truly and genuinely didn't believe that, but there is. And I'm evidence of that.
Yeah.
Just always focus on your goals. If you have goals and you believe in them, that's all you need. If you believe in yourself and truly, truly are committed to being great, you'll succeed.
You're low-key hyping me up right now, bro. Like, seriously, because it's just like, I just love, literally, because I could just tell you've been around and you've seen some great moments, great coaches, great players, great timeouts, great training sessions, locker room, and even just off the court as well. I can tell that's just translated in so many ways. So just how you speak about the game and you're very intentful with your words, So that's just so dope to see, which kind of leads me to my Beyond the Game segment. This first question, I'm super intrigued. This could go the basketball route or it could go life. Like, the first one is, what would you say, Bo, is a skill that is taught by many but only mastered by a few?
Oh, taught by many but only mastered by a few. I think being able to be humble but have confidence.
Okay.
I think lots of people have great confidence.
Yeah.
But can't really ground themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Like
that.
always appreciate everyone around you that's helping you. Not only your coaches and your teammates, but the people that come and lock up the gym every night, the people that clean the floors, you know,
Yeah,
the
that's
people
real.
that buy us new balls to be able to play.
Yeah.
Be grateful and be humble and really appreciate everything everyone does for you to succeed and appreciate the people around you.
Yeah. Love that. Love that, man.
Kindness.
Yeah,
Kindness.
absolutely. Absolutely. Next one, the best piece of advice you ever received.
I ever received. I don't have one
Yeah.
piece of advice that I remember instinctively, but it's more, for me, it's more been who has encouraged me. Do you know what I mean? Who is, there's always people behind you.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually I do have, but I think I've already said it.
Okay.
One of my first coaches said to me very early on in my basketball journey, don't compare yourself to others. You're on your own journey. People can do whatever and like, oh, I want that, but you're not there. Your journey, your time will come.
Yeah.
You're on your own journey. I think that's the thing I live by the most, the best advice I've been given.
And just the final two, this next one is more of like you have to fill in the blank in the sentence. So the sentence is, if it wasn't for basketball, I wouldn't have learnt filling the blank about myself.
I wouldn't have learned resilience.
Okay. Why do you mean that?
Because in basketball, it's very competitive. Everyone's competing for a spot on a team. Everyone's competing for minutes. Everyone's competing for everything. I mean, you're competing to balance school. You're competing to. It's very competitive.
Yeah.
And I think resilience to me has been impacted my life the most. How resilient, how much can you go through and still come out on top?
Yeah. Oh, that's
how many challenges can you do? How much can you be challenged to still be successful? How many times can you go through something and still succeed?
Yeah. That's so true. You're going to be a problem when you get to like 2021, because I was thinking if this is where your mind is at now, oh my gosh, like you are going to be a serious asset to your teammates, to your coaches, and just beyond basketball, just in life, honestly, Bo, man. And so I'm gonna set the scene for the final one now, Bo. So there's a young girl who has been following your journey all throughout. You know, you're playing pro now, you're in the EuroLeague, you're representing GB, and she's gone to her nearest bookstore and she's asking the librarian, do you know where I can find the sports section? I want to buy my favorite player's book. And he's like, oh yeah, cool. You just go up the stairs, turn left, you go to sport. If you go on the bestseller, you'll see there. Can't miss it. So she's there with her bag. She's going up the stairs. She's got your jersey and she goes to the top and she gets your book, bro. And the question is, what would the title of your autobiography be, bro?
What would the title of my autobiography be? That's a really good question. What would it be?
Take your time with it, man. Because even for me, when I ask myself, it changes, and it really kind of takes me a minute to reflect on just life and lessons and ups and downs, everything. So, what comes to mind?
This is such. I'm actually giving this a lot of thought.
Yeah, please.
It would have to be. I mean, like I say, I live by resilience.
Yes.
It's something I really live and breathe. So it'd probably have to be like the guide to resilience, the guide to success.
Guide to resilience.
How to make resilience success.
How to make resilience success. Okay, I like that. I like that, man. And honestly, bro, this has been such a treat for me. I just know for the listeners who are listening to the audio or the visual, like it's just so many gems. And honestly, it's just so exciting to know that, this is the start of your journey, and just to, see what you do in the next few months, years, and so on is just super exciting for us all to see, man. And for those who want to continue supporting you, they just want to know more about you and this, your approach to the game, but they also want to follow GB, especially in the Eurobasket. When it comes to the socials, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm sure you can put my handle
For sure.
down below or something.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm more than happy to answer any questions if anyone has any more questions as well. And yeah, come and support us at Eurobasket.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, people don't know me as a GB fanboy. I'm gonna be losing it, like absolutely losing it, both for the men's and the women's,
So
man.
exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, listeners, again, I appreciate Bo Frost for being on the podcast. And see, low key, I'm gonna say this real quick. How do I pronounce the long name? Because I was like, I want to say Bo, the long word Frost, but I'm like, I had it down pat, but then the camera hit me, and I was like, yeah, let me just go Bo Frost just to keep it nice and easy. But like, how do I pronounce the?
Okay, so I'm gonna do it fast, and then I'll do it slowly, and then you can try to say it. Okay, so Good Arms Dottir.
Good arms dotish.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Good arms dotish. Wow. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you. Well, honestly, Bo, thank you so much for your time. Listeners, thank you so much for listening. And this is myself. And who knows, the author, the next EuroLeague star. And please follow our journey when it comes to the Super League Women's and GB as well. Please come down and support. This is Bo Frost signing
Thank you so
out.
much. Thank you, guys.